Hey class, Mrs. Gilling back here for your lesson 2 video assignment, all about the first focus note assignment that you're going to be completing. Before I let you know about that, it's time for something I like to call the joke of the unit. Yeah. All right. The lawyer won the luggage lawsuit in less than 6 hours. It turned out to be a briefcase. Get it? Because luggage lawsuit. It didn't take very long. Briefcase, briefcase. Oh, you know you're gonna tell somebody. Someone's gonna tell someone this joke. You'll thank me later. All right, let's talk about focus notes for a little bit. So focus notes are a little bit different in this course. I don't know if you're new here, you might not know, but if you had other courses, they're a little bit different. So in each unit, there's something called an enrichment lesson in criminal justice. And it's an opportunity for you to do some of your own research and learn about a topic more kind of on your own. And in the unit, it makes comments like, put this in your own personal journal or just ask your instructor. So, this is what your instructor is telling you to do with those enrichment lessons. You're going to be doing focus notes for those. So, every unit has an enrichment lesson, and you will use focus notes to complete these lessons. So I'm going to actually go out of the presentation now to show you first what the enrichment lesson looks like for this lesson, and then I'll show you what the focus notes look like for this lesson so you kind of have an understanding of that. So hopefully this doesn't go too crazy while I'm exiting out of everything. It's already being a little slow for me. All right, so here's the enrichment lesson for this one. So it's called Enrichment Driving Consequences. And it says each lesson has an enrichment piece that gives you a chance to explore its topics further. Check with your instructor for any other information or instructions that they want you to have. So before each of these, I'm going to make a video assignment just like this one, and it's going to give you all the details you need to know to complete your enrichment lesson. So this is your instructor giving you instructions. So let me read this for you. Enrichment, driving consequences. Many people get the occasional ticket for speeding or rolling through a stop sign. For most people, a $250 fine for a traffic infraction serves as a painful reminder to follow the rules of the road. But not everyone cleans up their driving after a ticket. What happens to people who collect a stack of traffic infractions in your state? Now, this is where you get to do some research. To find out, search the internet using terms such as suspended driver's license or revoked driver's license plus your state. So we're in Idaho, obviously. So you'd say, suspended driver's license, Idaho, revoked driver's license, Idaho, something like that. Most states have a department dedicated to motor vehicles that includes sub-departments dedicated to licensing and other issues related to vehicle ownership. In many states, that department is abbreviated DMV for Department of Motor Vehicles. However, in Arizona, the name is Motor Vehicle Department or MVD. Whatever the department is called where you are, they likely have a website. Go to their website and look for links to information about suspensions. Look around until you find answers to these questions. So these are really important. These are the questions you're going to answer in your focus notes. What sorts of traffic violations lead to a suspended or revoked license? Is the law different for drivers under 18? What other fees or consequences go along with a suspended license? Can drivers in your state lose their license for infractions or crimes unrelated to driving? And this is the part I want you to ignore. Write your answers in your personal journal unless your instructor has given you other directions. Do not write these in your personal journal. I'm giving you other instructions. You are going to write the answers to these in a focus notes worksheet. And I'm going to show you that worksheet now and what that looks like, the exact one you're going to be doing. So this is the focus notes worksheet that you're going to fill out. There's some instructions out here. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the research. You're going to do what they said. You're going to Google these different questions for Idaho and find the answers to them. I put those questions in the Q section here. So your job is to put the answers in the notes section right here. Before you do that, though, I want you to fill out the topic. So what is this about? You can say, you could even put in, enrichment lesson, driving consequences, or driving laws in Idaho. Then I want you to put in the essential question. So what are we trying to learn in this? What is the objective of this? And turn it into a question form. So, for example, if you were learning about misdemeanors, the essential question might be, what is a misdemeanor? And that would be it. So come up with the essential question for what you're researching. So come with the essential question, then do your research and put down notes to each of these things, each of the answers. So what sorts of traffic violations lead to a suspended or revoked license? Is the law different for drivers under 18? What other fees or consequences go along with suspended license? Can drivers in Idaho lose their license for unrelated driving? And then there's one more thing I want you to answer, and that is which websites did you use? Man, Mrs. Gilling needs to learn to spell. Did you use to get your information? Every website I use, I just want you to put the link to it there in your notes. That's important because that way you can refer back to it if you need to. So after you've answered all those questions, you've done all your research, I want you to process your notes. So there's 3 things you can choose to do your processing. You don't have to do all 3 of them. Pick at least one of them. You can do 3 if you want, but pick one at least. So the first option is read over your notes and highlight vocab words or any words that stick out to you. So if there's a word that you're like, man, that keeps coming up, that's important, highlight it. The other thing you can do is underline interesting information. If you choose this step, make sure you're underlining at least 3 things. And then the third option, include pictures next to your notes that will help you remember the information. So if you choose this step, you must include at least 3 pictures. Then for the summary, you're going to write a sentence explaining at least one sentence, you can write more, explaining what the notes were about. And then you're going to write another sentence answering the essential question or questions that you wrote at the top. After that is the connection. And this is where you're going to write at least one sentence where you explain how something you learned in your research applies to your life. So how did something you learned in that relate to today and what you see going on? Make sure to be specific there. And that's your assignment. When you're done with it, there'll be a place to submit, and you'll turn it in with this form. So that's your very first focus notes assignment. Let me go back to the presentation for a minute so I can let you know how it's going to be graded. Here it is. All right, so how will these notes be graded? The essential question is worth 10 points, so don't skip that part. Your notes, that's the bulk of it, that's worth 60 points. The summary is worth 10 points. The connection is worth 10 points. And the processing, that's the highlighting or underlining or adding the pictures, that's worth 10 points. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. Oh, and this is important. You can either print out those notes. You can print them out and write them there. You can fill them out by hand. Like if you wanted to write them on your own paper and fill them out like that and take a picture and submit it, you can. Or you can just fill them out right there on the Google Doc. Any one of those 3 things is acceptable. You'll just need to make sure that they're turned in and that you're including all of those steps that I mentioned in the notes. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. But other than that, you have a great day.